This podcast is a proud member of the UUOP network.
This is episode 681 of the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast for September 23rd, 2025.
The crew and I are really stoked about having the opportunity to make this podcast with you.
We've got 3 things to do before we can roll the recorder.
First, you need to pick your soundtrack.
Second, Tracy will show you how to get strapped safely into the vehicle.
And third, we'll show you how to rip your soundtrack into the ride vehicle.
Once those things are done, it'll be
lights, camera, action! Assuming we can peel you out of the seat afterwards.
There are 2 ways to get your soundtrack ripped into the ride vehicle. Ready to rock it?
First way, don't do anything. Just climb in, sit back, and hold on tight. I'll pick for you.
Hit nothing and I'll pick for you.
Is there an echo in here?
Is there an echo in here?
Just ignore him. I do. Second way, hit the button for the style of music you want.
When the 6 songs appear on the screen, touch the one you want and you're done.
Got it? Let's get ready to rip, ride, rocket.
Dude, this is going to be awesome.
As you make your way over to us, check out these tracks and see what you want.
Hey everybody, I am here with Tracy and Lee.
I mean, we'll discuss it more later, but it's interesting how we talked about, like, Asta is such a word that's associated with Rip Ride Rocket, and yet it doesn't appear in that Q video spiel at all.
And everybody's going to be screaming like we are. No, it does.
As I said, I transcribed that whole bit from the actual Q video that is on YouTube. Source video as well, not even taken from the Q ride itself. It's source video.
Hang on, where did they record me and Chris?
Yeah, I think maybe we jumped multiverses back in like 2020. So that Asta was from a different timeline.
Yep.
And now we're here. So, but anyways, let's get into it. It is time to pay tribute to another Universal Orlando attraction that recently shuffled off the theme park coil. Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit. Now, before we get into our discussion, here's a quick overview of the attraction and its history. And then Lee and I also talked to former Rockit Team member Jeremy, which was a lot of fun.
It really was. So yes, of course, Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit soft opened in the New York area of all places, by the way. I would like to point out Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit opened in the New York area of Universal Studios, Florida, back on August 16th, 2009, and then officially opened 3 days later on August 19th.
The attraction was built by Morrison and used their X-Car coaster design. It had a track length of 3,800 feet, a top height of 167 feet, reached a top speed of 65 miles an hour and lasted 1 minute and 39 seconds.
That's what she said.
Someone had to say it.
The coaster featured a 167-foot vertical chain lift, a 103-foot wide non-inverting loop, nicknamed the Double Take, passed through a hole in the firehouse wall and entered a left-hand upward helix nicknamed the treble clef, which resembles the music symbol of the same name when viewed from above. Yeah. The jump cut, which was a section of a quick left, then right, then left turns.
The biggest feature of the attraction was being able to pick your own soundtrack, as well as purchasing the accompanying ride video, if it worked.
Or if you were prepared to pay the extortionate price for it.
That too. Once through the queue and onto the vehicle, you had about 10 seconds to pick your ride song from the touchscreen in the lap restraint. You could choose from classic rock and metal, pop, disco, country, rap, hip-hop, and club electronica.
What's the difference between rap and hip-hop? I used to be a big rap fan, and I still don't actually know what the difference is.
I
don't know.
Mentally know, like if you put 2 songs in front of me, I can tell you.
But I think hip hop's a little more sort of melodic, whereas rap's more sort of lyric-y.
I think of that Bob's Burger video.
Yeah, I don't
when
know.
They're doing the hip hop dance tutorial.
Each genre originally featured a choice of 6 songs, but was pared back to 1 song each genre in 2024, and those were for rock we had Welcome to the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance, dance was Waterloo by ABBA to stretch, country was Man, I Feel Like a Woman by Shania Twain, hip-hop was Humble by Kendrick Lamar, and finally electronic was Sandstorm by Darude.
Wow.
I'd be going between rock and electronic at that point, thank you.
I was doing country all day.
I know you were.
I found the difference. Hip-hop is a broad cultural movement, while rap is the musical component within that culture.
Oh.
So hip hop
I'm not
encompasses
wiser.
DJing, breakdancing, graffiti art, in addition to MCing or rapping, which is the rhythmic recitation of lyrics. Therefore, all rap is part of hip hop, but not all hip hop is rap.
Oh.
Thus endeth today's lesson.
The ride also featured a secret track list that could only be found online and featured songs like Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin, Blowed On by Modest Mouse, Lose Yourself by Eminem, and Moving Right Along and Rainbow Connection by The Muppets.
I never got the secret song. To the one time I thought, I think I know a number and I'm going to do it, and I got the thing up and I couldn't remember the number and I just ended up getting a random song.
Immigrant Song's a good one, and Lose Yourself would have been really good on
There's
that.
some really good tracks on there, actually.
I loved the Rainbow Connection for some reason. It was a very relaxing ride when you did that.
Interesting.
We'll discuss more later.
Okay.
Yo deseo ir a México.
Where can our vacation wizards take you? Just tap the port key at portkeyvacations.com and let the magic begin.
Well, Lee, it's over to you to introduce our guest. Tracy, go and put your feet up.
I will indeed.
Thanks, Chris. So moving on, as we always do on these tribute episodes, we like to talk to someone who had some input into the attraction itself, and this episode is no different. So I would like to welcome onto the podcast Jeremy Lyons, who is a former Rip Ride Rockit team member. Jeremy, thanks for taking time to come and talk to us on the podcast about your time at Rip Ride Rockit.
Thanks for having me. It's great being here.
Yeah, we're very excited to have you here.
Yeah, like I said, we've been talking off air, and like I say, we love the theme park nerds in us, love talking to people who have an input into the attractions that we love. And I know, Jeremy, you kind of talked about it a little bit before we started recording, that working the parks has kind of turned you off the parks a little bit.
I don't know, like if it turned me off. I'd spent less time there for sure.
Okay.
Changes the way you see them.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely changes.
It does.
The magic is totally different.
Yes, I agree with that, because that's where I was going to go. Like, I worried. We started this podcast in 2011 and we didn't go on our first trip to Universal. And like, we'd been before, so our first trip after starting the podcast was 2013. So we had 2 years of talking to people who worked in the parks and sort of pulling the curtain back. And I was worried that it was going to spoil that magic. And exactly what you've just said, it didn't. It just enhanced it so much more.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love seeing how things are done behind the scenes. In fact, one of my favorite things in the parks, just in general, is seeing what in my head I call like wow factors, and it's things like the launch at Revenge of the Mummy, or the motors at Tower of Terror. Seeing the size and the scale of those motors, or even like a Jungle Cruise boat being lifted out of the water, and seeing like how all that machinery, not machinery at that point, but like how it works and how it runs. Or Rockit, seeing the technical side of that system. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
You're in good company.
Yeah. I still delve into Forbidden Journey, and I still don't really understand how that carousel thing works in that. It boggles my mind. It's amazing.
I'll explain it to you another time.
Now, Jeremy, before we get into it, can you just give our listeners a brief history of yourself? Like, when I talk about that, I mean when it comes to the theme parks, and specifically Universal Orlando, as a guest and then also as a team member prior and post working on Rip Ride.
Yeah, I did not grow up going to Universal at all. I've never even stepped foot in the state of Florida as a kid. My first introduction to the parks was when I moved down to Florida for the Disney College program. But funny enough, the week before doing the college program, my family and we went to Islands of Adventure just to do something different. And I remember riding Dueling Dragons for the first time. And I remember standing in the exit side of Dueling Dragons, watching like the near misses of the coaster. And I also remember the Florida weather for the first time. So that was a thing.
Oh, yeah.
But when I was working at Jungle Cruise at Disney, I interviewed with Universal. And they asked me if I'd ever heard of a ride called Revenge of the Mummy. It was very new at the time. And then they tried explaining to me for like 2 minutes. I walked out of the interview thinking, what did I just get myself into? But then I started at Universal and went through Mummy. I was an attraction attendant there. I ended up working in the control booth at Mummy. I ended up training team members in both as attendants and control booth operators at Revenge of the Mummy. Went over to Men in Black.
Nice.
Worked at Men in Black for a little bit.
Oh.
All three, same thing, attendant, control booth operator training. I was part of the first team that brought How the Grinch Stole Christmas into the soundstage.
Nice.
So trying to figure out that entire operation, how that works. And then I went over to Rockit. After Rockit, I moved on from Rockit to become a lead at Terminator. And I spent the rest of my time at Universal at Terminator. And then I moved into a boring career in IT. Boring compared to the parks, at least.
Yes. When it comes to Universal attractions, then some pretty big hitters there, let's be honest.
Yeah, there's
these top 5, basically. If you haven't worked on Fast and Furious, you would have hit all of them.
Shut your face.
No, I wasn't at Fast. I did get fully trained at Dragon Challenge, though.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a experience.
Yeah, and I mean, pulling back the curtain, obviously it was because a mutual friend of ours that we had you on this show that you met while being on the Mummy, Michael Mangione, who we've had on the show to talk about his book about Revenge of the Mummy, which is such a good book. I'll give that book a plug.
The third unit, it's on my desk right now.
It's so good. It's so good. And then Poseidon's Fury worked on that as well. So yeah, it was through him that we got put in touch with you. So yeah, cool. So you said you started off at Mummy, then went to Men in Black. So what was the reason that you transferred? Because I always wonder like how it works of like, were you headhunted? Did you get bored? And like, I've had enough now. I need to go and do something else. How does that transition from one attraction to so basically, how did you go from Men in Black to Rip Ride Rockit?
So I mean, even when I was at Mummy, there were like rumors about Rockit being a thing. And I remember walking around the New York area, checking out the footers for where they were pouring the footers for the supports and everything. And then I decided to move on from Mummy, just looking for a different challenge. I went over to Men in Black. And then at Men in Black, I remember seeing construction for Rockit go vertical, like them actually putting the lift in place and all the track. And it was just such an exciting thing. I knew I wanted to be a part of it then. And I don't remember why I didn't transfer to be part of the opening team, but I did go over like a month after it started loading guests onto the attraction. I won't say opening, but loading guests.
Yeah, because it's weird. I know like our third trip, we came over in November 2009 and it had only been open a few months at that point. And I'm so like we came over in May and I desperately wanted to ride it in May knowing it was closing down. So I would be able to say I rode it opening year and closing year. And I got down to our last day and I went over. I was like, Tracy won't ride it. She's like, I'm done with Rip Ride Rockit. I've had my last ride on it. I'm quite happy now. I'm like, fair enough. I'll run over. I'll go on single rider line it. Jump on. I'll be back in 10 minutes. So it was like a 50-minute wait standby. I run over. Single rider line's closed. I'm like, oh well. So I didn't get to do it.
Yeah, it's such an interesting like attraction and how it came out and how it opened, because it opened with just stationary mode, so the walkways weren't moving or anything like that, and the nets weren't even up, the loose article nets and everything like that. I came over in that kind of stage, so it was very fresh. I was over there at that point when you were riding, when you rode it for the first time.
Oh,
so
weird.
We very well may have met before.
So, just give him a high five.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's so strange when you think back to like now doing this and the amount of people that we've come into contact who potentially would have been working at Universal Orlando before we knew who they were. It's crazy. So what were your roles there then, Jeremy?
Same as the other attractions. I started off as an attendant. It takes a few months for people when they get trained at an attraction to kind of feel the overall vibe of the attraction and kind of understand the flow and actually just start to be decent at what they're doing and not super slow like any job really. And then I ended up getting trained in the control booth.
Nice.
Spent a lot of time in that control booth, and then after that training people both as attendants and in the control booth.
I gotta ask. So control booth.
Yes.
We don't get a lot of people that are in control booths, at least not to my memory.
No.
So what all goes on in there, right? Because every time I see it, it's always dark, right?
Yeah,
Usually dark. You can't see it. You guys always look like, you remember Inspector Gadget?
Yes.
Remember Dr. Claw? The villain? Yeah, that's what I think of when I think of the attendants working or the people that work inside the operator booth, right? So
but I didn't have a cat up there.
But you had the metal hand.
This is not where I expected this cat to go.
Like responsibilities, I guess, or like what things are emergencies or anything that not emergencies, maybe that's not the place to take this.
We'll
but,
get there. There will be a question that will come up about emergencies. There is something I do want to bring
I saw
up.
that later. Yes, I want to talk about that in detail. But yeah, what would happen in there?
So in the control booth, every booth at every single attraction is completely different. A lot of them are just monitoring and then making sure things don't happen. And then when they do, being able to respond to them accordingly. Rockets was actually pretty involved and engaged. Something like Revenge of the Mummy, if all the guests put their lap bars down and you need to, for whatever reason, the guest needs to reseat themselves and you have to pop lap bars up, Revenge of the Mummy, you can do that straight from the platform. Rockit is from the control booth. So in Rockit, you're constantly monitoring because that train is moving through the walkway. It's got different zones or blocks, is the coaster term, within the station. And so you're constantly waiting and hovering your fingers over buttons to make sure that you're popping the lap bars for the right zone or block that the coaster's in. Yeah.
If you accidentally press the wrong button, it's the people
that right now.
So the people going up the lift hill, you're like, oops, sorry guys.
Yeah, they're on the lift hill. Oops.
Yes.
No, it would never get to that point. The guys downstairs, the team members on the platform would have to enable the train for dispatch. But there's so many safety
I'm sure
precautions involved in that attraction. So it would much rather just stop itself than continue running in an unsafe condition.
Because going back to like working as an attendant, I assume you were loading people onto the vehicles themselves. Mm-hmm. See, that's got to be... I always find it, because it's the same at Forbidden Journey and a little bit of Hagrid's, it's got to be quite stressful because you've got to be on it. The throughput of that ride relies very heavily on those team members loading people in. It's like, get in. And I always feel sometimes, depending on what mood I'm in, I'm like, I think as a guest going to theme parks, you want that magical experience and you want team members to be magical all the time. But when you're on an attraction like Hagrid's specifically, or even Forbidden Journey when it used to be, like when it was the big ride in Hogsmeade, the team members are just trying to be efficient, and it's just two in there, and it's like, I'm not getting the Hogwarts experience that I want here, guys. But then you also realize that if they were trying to have that experience as well as doing that, then it slows the ride down. And let's be honest, something like Hagrid's, the throughput's horrendous as it is. So it's very much on you guys to get that throughput through. I mean, did you have targets that you had to hit, or was it just get people on?
It's interesting. We didn't have specific targets that we were looking for, but at the end of the day, what we were really gunning for is to have a shorter line as possible. Because at the end of the day, the efficiency of the attraction and how efficient you can be and pushing guests through the attraction, it's also directly related to the courtesy that you're providing to the guest.
Yeah.
So if the guest is waiting in a 60-minute line, but you're providing the best service possible and you're being so polite and so taking time with people up on the platform and everything, that's great. But do you really want to wait in that 60-minute line?
Exactly.
Like there's got to be that balance of the line, and then also being super, I don't know, like pulling out my customer service type voice type of thing.
Yeah.
On the platform.
It's difficult.
Get the hell on the chair and shut up.
Yeah, like exactly. You can't, there's no way that stuff would happen.
A ride like that doesn't afford you that ability, right? Like, I mean, if you go back to, like, just in comparison, because it's the most recent on my mind, Ministry of Magic, when we wrote it, like, you're there for a bit. It's not moving. And even when you're sitting down, they're doing a bunch of stuff. And you have some of those team members kind of playing into it. Like, oh, you're going to be going to, this trial. And if you play back with them, you're like, oh, I hope she gets off. There's this banter that goes back and forth. But there's time that they have allotted to them to do that. Maybe not by choice. Maybe they're just filling in the gap, but they're doing a fantastic job at doing that. Whereas here, it's literally moving. You got to get on. You don't really have a lot of time for banter. Yeah, I mean, but it's a balance, like you said.
The best thing was once we got guests onto the belt, that moving walkway, their attention had to be focused on getting onto the car. If their attention was not focused on getting on the car, because there's so many things moving and there's so many possibilities for them to get hurt, the best thing we can do is either get them on the car into a lap bar and secured, or get them off the belt. And that's kind of how it worked. Like once we get them off the belt, we can have all the time we want to handle whatever kind of situation or talk with them however we need to, and then actually provide that really good service that Universal is kind of known for. Yeah. But once they're on that belt, it becomes pretty much a safety thing at that point. Get on the car, get on the ride, or get off the belt.
It's stressful as well, because it's one of those attractions that I know from my perspective of knowing how little time you get to choose your song, that you want to be on that platform, in that vehicle, lap bar down, quick enough that you've got time to then go and pick your track before it locks in and you don't even get a choice anymore. And it's stressful. It is probably the most stressful, it was the most stressful attraction to get into as a guest.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
probably ever.
Especially when you have your phone, you got to put your phone away. You got it in the locker. You have to remember the secret song that you want, and then all the anxiety of getting loaded on there. I'm like, I have no idea what I want.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pick Daft Punk.
There were times when I got on it as a team member, and I would get on it and I would go for whatever song I wanted, even if it was one of the normal songs, and I would realize I didn't have time to select it in time, and I would get stuck with Get Busy Child.
It's strange, isn't it? It's strange that they would build an attraction with a secret song list that you've got to hold the thing for 5 seconds and then type the thing in, when you literally get probably just long enough to do that if you know what you're doing.
Yeah. I remember when we first found all the secret songs, we were doing testing late one night, and it was really interesting just looking through all of them and hearing all the songs, and it was just such an experience. Like our minds were like blown wide open. That it
Was that
wasn't
something
just
they trained you on?
No.
Or
It
told
was
you?
It was something that it was actually before my time, so I'm not going to take credit for it. But it's about that time though. It was just kind of discovered.
Weird.
And I don't know if it was intentional or not. So I have no idea how that came to be. But yeah, there's so many good songs that were on that ride.
Yeah.
Like you work in IT, you said, right? And I do
that,
IT work as well.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things from a programming perspective. It almost looks like it wasn't intentional. It's like we have a bank of songs. Let's load that here. We'll program this on the front end. And if we need to do some changes later, here's how to get to the secret access menu. But then it just became I guess guests can do this as well.
I think that's kind of how it became, but I don't honestly remember.
But then why would you build that into the actual selection screen of like holding it for 5 seconds? Because surely if that was the case, it would be on the back end, not the front end.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, we know theme park people, creative and Imagineers and stuff, like to put random crap in just because they can. And I guess that's where I figured this
like
was.
Easter eggs. That's what they were doing. But the only difference here is they put like 100 songs. What was it? I used to carry a paper with me. Like, that's how long ago I was doing this. A paper with all the stuff printed out. It was a lot of songs.
At one point, I don't know if it's still active, but there's an entire app that had like walkthroughs of how to get to the secret songs and all the numbers of them and everything. Yeah,
that's cool. Wow. It is cool. It's weird, isn't it, that it's one of those, like they've talked about it with Toy Story Mania, that they would have a screen-based ride that they would switch out every now and again, and they never have.
Yeah.
And you would think this would be the same, but they did a couple of times, didn't they? No, was it One Direction when One Direction, oh God, came over and they switched out some One Direction songs. Not my boy.
Yeah, they did it for Rock the Universe as well.
Yeah, I've always wanted them to do it for Horror Nights. I've always wanted them to do like a Horror Nights soundtrack.
I think they did once.
Like, it would be so cool. Like, just to have random stuff like the Monster Mash or whatever it might be, it would be super awesome.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
It would be so cool.
Or it would have been cool to having like one of the icons like take over.
Yeah.
Like Jack just talking in the background. He goes, "Now it's my decision." Blah blah blah, and then you ride with whatever he wants.
I seem to recall there being, and maybe this is my memory of an attraction that I worked at a long time ago, miscommunication in my head.
Yeah.
But I seem to remember there being a Chucky.
Yes.
Track.
Yes. So I'm going to plug for one of our sister podcasts, Big Dumb Stuff. They talked about Sid Vinyl on their episode, and they talked about there being a Chucky song, because I remember there was also, it wasn't that long ago, when it was one of the guys out of Blink-182's birthday and he was going to Universal, and they added a couple of Blink-182 songs, but it was on the secret list and the number was 182 for one of them, which I thought was super cool.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. Yeah, I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of the belt, on a day that you worked the belt, how many did you ever count your steps? You ever have like a watch on or
constantly?
What's like an average like mile length or mile count that you did?
Let's equate it to what people know, more or less than a Halloween Horror Night night.
Yeah.
So of course everybody's going to be a little different, but including the walk from my car and back to my car. And then also, a lot of the times we would go get lunch in City Walk.
Yeah.
It was just the closest. So go out to City Walk, grab some food, come back. Including all of those steps, it ended up being about 15,000 steps.
That's not bad.
No, it's really not.
It's
Not
weird
bad,
as
no.
well to think that you did probably 10,000 of them on the spot.
Yeah. It's also like we weren't always on the belt. And when we were, it's usually walking really, really, really slow. Like a
Yes.
treadmill at the lowest speed possible.
Ah,
And you're riding it half the time too.
yes. Did you get to ride it much when you were working it? Did they let you ride the ride at all? Like
Yeah.
test it
Oh, yeah,
out in
yeah.
the morning?
Yeah, we would ride constantly to if a guest came back and said there was no audio on a seat, excuse for a ride through.
Awesome. Because of course
It
you
was-
have to
it
go and
was-
test it.
More efficient for us to ride it without audio and verify or not. So
Interesting.
Were you guys as excited as I want to compare it to the Mummy, right?
Mhm.
So when we did one of the Mummy tours, and this is not during a VIP or RIP, it's just a regular, hey, can somebody do the Mummy tour? They got somebody to ride, to take us through the whole thing.
Mhm.
And like, oh, you want to ride? I'm like, yeah. And then they would ride with us. You would think this guy has never ridden the Mummy because he was just screaming and laughing and having more fun than we did, which I thought made our fun even better.
Of course.
And this guy was just having so much fun. I'm like, is this your first time? He goes, no, I just really love this ride. I'm like, all right, fair enough.
yeah, same thing. I was the same thing riding Rocket that I was Mummy too.
That's awesome.
Same with Men in Black.
Oh, yeah. So we alluded to this a little bit earlier on. So obviously Tracy's not here because she's not very well, but she's on the rest of the episode. But Michelle, our other co-host, is not here. There's a reason why Michelle is not here. She has never ridden Rip Ride Rocket. There are two very specific reasons why Michelle has never ridden Rip Ride Rocket. One is that vertical lift hill. She hates it with a passion, will not ride it. The second one is for the amount of times going up that vertical lift hill that ride vehicles seem to get stuck at the top. So
Okay.
in your time there, I don't want to get anyone into trouble or delve too far into things that we probably shouldn't be, but how it seems to happen more. Michelle always says it happens more than it should. And if I got stuck at the top of that lift hill, you would have to pry my dead body out of that coaster. How often did it happen? And what was the protocol of getting people out of it?
The short answer is not very often.
Yeah, I didn't think it was.
Pretty much you only heard about ride. And this goes for any theme park attraction. You only hear about the ride breaking down when somebody calls 911 or the news picks it up. Like that's it. The rides stopping, and I'm going to go so far as saying this is not a Universal specific thing. That is not a Disney specific thing. It's not a Six Flags thing. Any theme park attraction that's constantly operating like that is going to stop at some point.
Yes.
That's just the nature of it.
Yeah.
And you never hear about them because it's just a part of that attraction's life cycle and a part of its operations. So it's not a bad thing when it stops. It's actually a very good thing because it gives us an opportunity to figure out what happened.
Yes.
And most of the time it's because vehicles got too close. So the ride did the safest thing. So for instance, vehicle stopping on the lift. If you've got a vehicle that can't clear the first block break, which is like is the really tall one over by Twister, now Fallon.
Yeah.
It's not going to push the vehicle over the lift because there's no place for it to go.
No, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's the safety thing. That makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So if you go a step further, the vehicle on block 1, if that can't go to block 2 because there's a vehicle there already, it's going to stop. If the vehicle on block 2 can't go to block 3, it's going to stop, so on and so forth. So if you have a vehicle that stops in the station, or entering the station, I should say, and you've got 6 trains that you are running, it's going to back all the way up.
Yeah.
It's the safer thing for it to happen. And then obviously the easiest thing is figure out what caused the backup and get things moving again.
I always remember there being a story about a woman on Forbidden Journey, we're going back there again, probably 10 years ago now, of getting stuck on that at a point. I think it was near the Whomping Willow. And there's been a huge debate about Forbidden Journey for the longest time that you go upside down on it. It's like, you don't, but whatever. This woman got stuck at that point and rang the police. And I'm like, you're in a theme park. What the hell do you think the police are going to do first off? Like, 911, police, please. I'm stuck near the Whomping Willow. Can you help me? It's like, what? It's just bizarre, and it's like those bigger ones. Like you say, I mean, there's been quite a few stories of Rockit getting stuck at the top of that lift hill, but for hours, that's the thing. You hear about those ones, they get stuck there for hours.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to lie here. I am a huge Rip Ride Rockit fan. It's honestly was one of my favorite coasters there.
I know what
it was something just so, and this sounds very weird. It's like very smooth about that ride. Like I thought it was. Some people say it's not. Like it jerks you around too much. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic as a ride in general. Did it for years. Towards its later end, and I guess as I got older, and the only reason why I say that's because I can't ride as many coasters and do back-to-backs as I used to. I just kind of get a little sick. But I did see it at least 2 or 3 times on my park trips there that it got stuck, to the point that, you know, and that could be I just got really lucky to be in the park when it did get stuck on the hill, and not like for a long period of time. I just see the actual cart stopped in position. I remember, I forgot the last one where we were gonna go ride it. I think I was with Alexa, and when we were walking towards it, we were talking, and I look at it, and the cart is stuck. And I had to distract her so that she didn't see it, because they got it moving like a few minutes later. And I just did a whole distraction thing, and then it's moving. Okay, cool. Let's go ride it right now. And I know if she would have seen that, she would have never gotten on that, that trip. But I just feel like that ride in particular did get stuck more than I'd like it to.
So, okay. Going back to what I was saying about why a train would stop on the lift. And I want to make sure that we're like saying stopped and not stuck, because it's not stuck. It's doing what it's supposed to.
And that's the thing. Most people report it as, it got stuck at the lift hill again.
Yeah. It's like not moving is any attraction's default state most of the time. There's a few I can think of that are others, but an attraction like Rockit, like not moving is its default state. You have to do something in order for it to move. You have to tell it to move.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so if you have a train that's coming into the station that a guest gets off and does something, or they won't get off the train, or their lap bar, I don't know. There's so many scenarios here. That's going to back up the entire attraction. And
because I'm guessing
it's going to take, you have to resolve this, whatever the guest challenge was in the station. And then you have to wait, I think it was like 159 seconds for the trains to actually cycle themselves.
Yeah.
Because it's going to take that. And it's also going to take more, because now your trains aren't in continuous motion. So you have to wait for the train in front of it to accelerate at that really slow speed, or the really slow angle that the block is. So it's going to take longer. A normal ride cycle is 159 seconds. This is going to take minutes. And all of that while you're waiting on the lift. Like, it just
feels like a long time.
Yeah, it does.
It's that thing of like, it doesn't necessarily, I think people see that ride vehicle stuck in speech marks on the lift and think it's that, but it's like you say, it could be a vehicle that's just gone through and coming back into the station. Someone's freaking out, someone's having an issue on the ride, the lap bar's not coming up. At that point, it affects every other car on the track, and people don't see that.
I can remember, I don't remember why, but there were two of us in the control booth, and we had a situation where a vehicle stopped in the lift, and it was right on the other side of the control booth where there's a walkway. And one of us, I don't remember if it was me or if it was the other person, to be honest. This is a long time ago. But we literally just went out and talked to those guests. It wasn't me, it was the other person. They went out and talked to the guests and told them what was going on. And then it would take a few minutes for them to get moving again. But they were like right there. And why not have that conversation? Let them know what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, that would make me feel better.
Yeah.
You want to feel safe. Like, rides do break down, but then also they do stop for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. I would much rather it stop than continue running.
Agreed.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, just to go along with that, there was a time, and Lee, you know about this, where we were riding the Mummy and our cart got stuck or stopped.
Oh, yes.
For a very long period of time inside of the fake
stop on the scene 6,
the fire ceiling.
The fire room, right? Where kind of sucked because it was very hot in there. And if you're there for a few minutes, which we were, but the thing that freaked us out, it wasn't getting stopped in there. I'm like, I know the fire's not going to fall and hit us, we kept on hearing the carts running on the track. And our biggest fear was like, dude, we're going to get rear-ended by a cart so bad. Never happened, but it was one of those things where like, yeah, if we knew like, okay, everything's quiet, everything's stopped, or somebody's like over the speaker, hey, this is okay, this is not an emergency, it would have made us feel better.
Yeah.
That attraction's interesting because the second half of that scene where your vehicle parks is a totally separate zone. There's a block behind you as well. So even a car that had just launched can still park right behind you. It is a very abrupt stop.
Oh.
But yeah, it's a normal thing at that attraction.
Okay. Cool.
All right. To round things off, do you have any funny or interesting, I'm sure you have plenty, but could you tell us any funny or interesting stories about your time on that ride, while working on Rip Ride?
That attraction gave me so many stories, many of which I probably cannot tell here. But,
Keep that behind the scenes.
You need to speak to Michael and get a book going.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of stories in that book that I was a part of. So. But no, I think my favorite memory from Rockit was the fact that it's such a shared responsibility attraction, meaning it's not like Jungle where I was driving a boat myself. It's not like Tower where I was dispatching elevators myself. It's everybody on that platform is working towards the exact same thing, which is a lot of the attractions at Universal. But you're also wearing these headsets too. And so you're constantly having conversations with everybody else that you're working with while you're working. And you're constantly trying to address all these scenarios and situations that are happening. And even when something happens, you're able to rely on everybody else on the platform at the exact same time. So somebody else that is controls trained but happened to be on the belt at the time may have a different experience with whatever just happened. So you can rely on each other. But then you can also goof off at the same time. So like when the Winter Olympics were happening, I remember there was quite a few times where we were watching curling in the break room. And we would quite literally, well, not literally, we would figuratively sweep the trains off into the attraction.
That's cool.
As if they were rocks. Little things like that made the day go by. But I also remember lugging the battery boxes to block 1, the tall one. Whenever we had to get guests off of a vehicle, we had to plug in a cable to the back of a box or back of the seat on the train in order to release the restraint. And those boxes were really, really, really heavy.
Oh, no.
It was like carrying a car battery up 120 some feet in the air.
I've got another quick question for you. Did you ever put anyone famous through the ride when you worked it?
Probably.
Those NDAs are still there.
No.
One Direction Lee, he did put them through. Okay.
Oh, fair enough. I think that was a bit after his time, to be fair.
Whenever I'm working, I tend to zone out and I hyper focus on the operation of the attraction. And it also depends on where you're at. Like when I'm in controls, I'm focused on the platform and making sure that nobody's getting hurt. Everything's checked and balanced. When I'm grouping, I don't have time to do anything but tell people numbers and rows.
That's fair.
So it really depends on where I'm at. Yeah.
Cool.
So probably.
Yeah. That was too busy. Celebrities.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Jeremy, it's been awesome to talk to. Really appreciate you coming on and sort of paying tribute to another Universal Studios Florida attraction that has said its goodbye and floated off to the great attraction place in the sky. Just any last words about Rip Ride Rockit before you leave us? Asta, how many times did you say Asta when you worked it?
Way too many.
They have to get like paid compensation from all the PTSD from hearing Asta.
I'm sure.
Hearing that entire video on that stairwell. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Fun reminiscing about this.
Thank you for that, Jeremy. But unfortunately, it was announced by Universal on December 27th, 2024, that the ride would close in early September 2025.
It was subsequently confirmed on June 5th of 2025 that the last day of the ride's operation would be August 17th, 2025. That was the day after its opening anniversary then, so it did a full...
yeah, that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool. I never noticed that.
Yeah.
UUOP is brought to you by the Producers Club. Join today and get bonus episodes, the chance to be a guest host, birthday shoutouts on air, be part of our awesome Facebook community, and more. Head over to uuop.supercast.com to subscribe. Shameless plug.
Yeah, I think I've been thinking about this a lot, actually. I think this is the first attraction that has opened and closed during our time going.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel?
I'm gutted I never got to ride it in May. I mean, I said it when we were talking to Jeremy that my plan, every time we were somewhere near it, I was feeling a little bit ropey, and it's like, I don't want to risk it. And then the last day I was like, right, Tracy was in the Today Cafe, you're happy, you've got your coffee, I'm going to go and single rider it. I think you were with Dawn and
I was.
Guy at the time as well. I'm going to go and single ride line it, and they'd shut the single ride line, so I was like, so as I said when we talked to Jeremy, that I would have ridden it the year it opened and the year it closed, so I'm kind of disappointed, but it's not something we rode an awful lot anyway, and I think I have a reason why, because of where the entrance is. Because you don't walk past the entrance.
No.
It's not in...
You have to make an effort to go into it.
It's there. You walk past and you have to go down there to it. So it's not like... I know you're not going to miss it because it's a big coaster at the side, but it's not like you walk past the entrance to the Mummy and think, oh, we'll jump in the Mummy, because it's not... The entrance sign isn't there. It's down a path. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. But I mean, if you really just want to go, you would go. I think that, like, for me at least, it was different reasons why. I mean, I've been to the park, forever, and I didn't ride it as much as I should have ridden it, even though I loved that ride to death. But it was one of those, for me, it was, the wait times were always high. Because remember, we always go on weekends, and for the most part, it has tons of delays, breaks. Let's not say breakdown. It has tons of delays, right?
Yeah.
It does not break down, as we found that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've ranked this ride already. The queue, not great.
No.
So it's something where it's like, it's got to be a short wait, and that just didn't happen very often. In order, for me to want to go, hey, let's go ride it. But it's unfortunate because it was one of my favorite rides. There. It was very smooth. I loved it. I think even when we did our, what was I was first on the podcast, the this or that, what was it called? Rapid Fire. There we go. And I think I may have listed this ride over another one, maybe over the Hulk or something like that at the time. But yeah, and I'm a little bummed too that I didn't ride it at all this year. I don't think before it closed. I was just my brain doesn't let me get past the fact that I could possibly get stuck on that lift hill, which I know we know is not true.
Yeah,
but it can. It's not stuck.
You just
I've seen it.
Yeah,
you just held that. Yeah,
like the last few times, and we didn't discuss this because we just didn't have a lot of time with Jeremy. One of the things I hated towards the end was, on the lift hill, end of the lift hill, is right before you get over that peak. It slows down. Yes. And every single time it slowed down, I go, this is it. This is the one. I'm going to get stuck. Never did.
No. The thing is, once you crest that, it was a hell of a ride.
I love
so good.
I love the vertical lift hill, to be fair. Like I'm just soaking in the view of that park that you don't get from anywhere else around that resort. You don't get to see.
How could you look around? There is absolutely no way.
Because that's all I'm interested in. It's like the lift hill takes forever to get up, and I'm going to use the advantage of being able to see a bird's eye view of Universal Studios Florida that you only get to see in pictures. So the lift hill is a means to getting you to the top, but I'm looking around. It does get a lot of hate for a long time. I mean, I'll be the first one to say I hated the view of the skyline with it in. From back by Men in Black, stood looking down the lagoon. It was an eyesore. It really was.
But you're going to look back now and it's going to be weird. It's not there.
I mean, it's funny, as of recording this right now, I've just seen pictures earlier today that double platform above is it the Macy's building, that big blue one? No, the one that's in front of Fallon, like the Fallon building. Is it Macy's?
Yeah.
Above that, those two red, drop, they're both gone. And it's like, once that loop comes down and that lift hill...
Isn't the loop down?
No, the loop's still up, I think.
Okay.
It's going to be weird. It is going to be weird because it's been such a part of that Universal Studios Florida skyline for most of our trips that not seeing it there is going to be really odd.
It was very weird during Horror Nights because you are walking literally under it.
Oh, yeah.
To get to those four houses in the back. And it looks like a little kid playing Roller Coaster Tycoon because the track just ends and you just fall to your death if you were riding it.
I feel
But
called
it was
out. I'm
also
currently playing
it was
that.
sad. It's sad because that's been there forever.
Yeah.
And you know, it's sad to see it go. I'm excited for what's to come. So
Yeah.
you know, there's that. But at the same time, like it was a fun ride.
It was a really strange addition in the first place. Like a music themed ride in a movie themed park. It was always odd.
Maybe if it had been movie theme tunes.
I mean, that would have been super cool.
It's all about licensing, isn't it?
It was just a strange addition, wasn't it? I think it was that time because it was before Comcast bought the parks out. I think it was GE. It was either Blackstone or GE at the time, where if you look back through Universal's history, it was a really dark time for the park itself because they were going through that massive transition of like not really putting a lot of money into it. It's weird that it looks like when we first started going is classed as like the dark time for Universal, and we fell in love with it straight away. So it's like for us now, it's like that was the worst time. Then hell yeah, we're all in.
Yeah.
And it was a case of they just wanted to put something in there to kind of boost attendance, I guess. And it's it's such a big draw. It's just a shame it wasn't what it was supposed, or at least what we have heard that it was supposed to be, of like that thing of going out into City Walk, which looks like from the land that they're clearing now, we're actually going to get that with whatever's coming.
Yeah.
Because if you look, there's that, so where the walkway that goes from studios in front of the Hard Rock Cafe and the Hard Rock Live over to Islands, there's a tiny little bit of land if you're walking to Islands on the left hand side between the pathway and the lagoon that's all being cleared as well.
It's a heck of an area. I've said it's almost the size of a small land.
It's
but
huge.
It could be
I'm just talking about that little bit, so it's probably going to come out over that path like Velocicoaster does over the Jurassic Park area.
I heard rumors they're connecting it to invaders from Planet Putt, so don't quote me on that.
Just
the
what I
final
heard.
putt's a real doozy.
Yeah, but it's again, it's a ride I liked, but we didn't ride it very often. In fact, I'll be lucky if I've ridden it a dozen times in its lifespan.
Yeah.
Do you think if it had a much cooler theming, it would have been a let me ride this more, same exact ride, but let's say Ghostbusters themed?
I think if the queue line had been a little more, well,
The queue
any
line's
more
irrelevant.
themed. No, but I wouldn't have minded standing in that line if I was entertained.
It was never short, was it?
I would agree.
It was never a short
and it was
line.
dark and dingy. It felt like you were stood in some seedy car park.
I remember riding it in 2022 with Connor.
Right, yes, yeah.
So we had our good buddy Connor with us, and we were like, oh, we're going to go and ride Rocket. And off we pop, and it was like a 20-minute wait, and it broke down for like 25 minutes while we were in line for it. But yeah, it's weird how you say, because you were saying, Chris, it's always got a long wait, and it made me think, well, yeah, it suffers from that front of the park thing. And then I think about poor Minion Blast sat there on 10 minutes all the time, and I think, oh, that really makes that ride look really bad, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Given the choice, it would be Minion Blast every time anyway.
Yeah, but see, for me, and it's not like I've kind of not got over my motion sickness now, but I can ride stuff more now than I ever used to be able to. It's so weird.
Do you think maybe that you're dead, but
Maybe.
you haven't realised it, and that's why you don't get these reactions anymore?
It's more
That's very true.
Huh?
because
The timeline where it says Hasta too.
well, we'll discuss that in a second. It's more that I don't want to say I suffer from a ton of headaches, but I'll quite often wake up with like a stiff neck and like my head's just a little on the edge, and I know if I ride something like that, it's probably going to knock me out for the rest of the day, so I don't risk it. It's probably the main reason I don't ride it. So it's because of me, not because of the ride itself.
Sure.
I think the best ride we ever had on it was our first RIP tour when we rode it at night.
Yeah.
At least I can say I've ridden it at night, and it was pretty cool. I think I rode it with Andy.
I don't think I've ever ridden at night. That's
Really?
weird.
I think I was with Lon.
Yeah, I was with Andy. It was pretty cool. Yeah, that's strange. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because that's the one that you potentially can ride quite easily at night because it's open during horror nights.
Okay, but at the same, I never would ride that during horror nights, and outside of horror nights, I think I never rode that at night because of its location, right? If I'm deep in the theme parks, I'm not walking back to the entrance.
Yeah.
That's my mentality. And that's probably why We rode it at nighttime.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what comes next, and it is very much a love or hate attraction. And I think once we knew the writing was on the wall for it when they pulled all the music tracks off it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this isn't going to be around much longer.
It's been a long time since I've ridden it.
When was the last time you rode it?
Not in the last, at least twice. Like, not in at least the last 2 trips.
I don't remember.
Didn't ride
it. Connor, the last time in 2022
Maybe.
with the kids, the last time you rode it?
No.
You didn't ride it the last time I rode it because I went and did single rider when you were, surprisingly enough, in the Today Cafe again.
Me? Never. Maybe.
It may well be 2022. Was September 22 was the last time you rode it.
When was Mardi Gras?
2020.
I rode it then.
I don't remember riding it then.
It was chilly. It was when the cold front was coming in.
I mean, it was cold when we rode it the first time. And we did single rider, and it took like 45 minutes to get on it in single rider. My biggest disappointment with Rip Ride Rocket right now is that we never got Michelle on it.
Yep. We tried.
Well, I never suspected that to happen. Or
no, I didn't.
I mean,
think
she
that
said
happened.
she nearly did when she went down earlier this year. She said she was very tempted to do it, but it just, I don't know. It's like even with Stormforce, like I've done Stormforce, even with things that I know I'm probably not going to be all right with. I would always feel like I can't say I don't like it, because you used to say I don't like it. And it's like you can't say you don't like it because you've never ridden it. So even we were talking about it at work the other day, Mission Space at Epcot. I am so claustrophobic.
Mm-hmm.
Like so claustrophobic, and I freaked out the one and only time I've ever ridden that, but I've ridden it. So like I know what it's like. The fact that she would never get on it, and as Jeremy told us, Chris, it never stopped at the top of that lift hill that often.
Yeah.
I never actually ever saw it
No,
stop.
we never.
I have, but again, like it's just because I saw it stop at least once.
Mm-hmm.
My brain's like, oh, this has to happen all the time. Then
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
it doesn't. That's
And if
just
it does,
it's my brain.
it's for a reason.
You do need to start speaking about it in the past tense.
It's weird, isn't it? Like we're going to go back. So you, Chris, like you've been through that trend. You've seen it up, you've seen it half done, and then when you go back, it's probably going to be all gone. We're going to go, it's there, it's not there. It's going to be weird. It's going to be weird that first time we walk into studios and it's not there.
Yeah. The whole area, like even it made me sad also seeing that little side entrance that you would walk down to go to Blue Man Group.
Yeah.
And then, the little side quote secret entrance. That was such a pleasant walk to get into the parks. It was quiet. Mm-hmm. You're walking right next to a roller coaster at eye level. It was just kind of a cool way to get into the park from there. That's all gone.
Yeah.
Like it's just all flatland right now. We'll see what they do. Maybe they build out a coaster to there. But yeah, it is very weird to see that not there anymore. It's like if they took away the lighthouse.
I guess it'll be strange as well during Horror Nights, because like one of your Horror Nights things is seeing it going round the track all night long when you stood in the queues at the front of the park and stuff. It's like you get the screaming of people is such a part of Horror Nights, I think.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that when I watch Lagoon shows, I know it's stupid. It used to really piss me off that I could see that going.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I kind of like that.
That didn't add to it for me. It detracted for me.
See, for me, I like that.
But that might be the ADHD.
Yeah, you're not gonna get that. It's
like when you got like drones and stuff like that, maybe they should have turned the light package off just for that. Because you're watching other lights in the sky and then you got this twinkling thing going through. And it's kind of like...
They're not going to turn... Mind you, I'd do it in the dark. Like, in the total dark. Like,
those lights aren't lighting up anything for you. They're projecting outwards.
Stardust Races, there we go. I couldn't think of it.
I would agree with all those points. It's the light at the end of the tunnel is that we already know there is a new coaster that's being put in there.
Yes.
That will be themed to a property, period. Right?
I mean, we don't know that. We don't know
it will be themed to a property.
We don't know it's going to be a coaster. We don't know anything officially.
Officially, we don't. But there was also a churro stand there that you could ride a virtual version of it online.
That doesn't make it true. I mean, it's going to be a coaster. We don't know anything for definite, but what else are they going to put in there, really? If you look at the land they're clearing, it's going to be. And it's pretty obvious it's probably going to be some version of the Fast and Furious coaster that's over in Hollywood. It makes perfect sense.
It would be really cool. And now we're getting it during a time you know, like you mentioned before, when this was built back in 2009, when it was the dark ages of Universal-ish, right?
Yeah.
They didn't care about putting money into things and longevity. Like you can tell this was like here's a generic thing,
A quick
put that
fix.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. As opposed to what Universal and Disney, right? Your premier, you know, theme park tours, when they put something out now, it is highly themed, whether it's a merch booth, whether it is a food stand, the food, whatever it is. So with that in mind and where we are with theme parks right now, I think we'll be in for a treat as to what they will give us as opposed to what was there prior.
Yes. I mean, you only have to look
Right.
at something like Velocicoaster. Like an incredible roller coaster with fantastic theme, like Universal Orlando theming. I think if you look at Stardust Racers, for an example, I don't think you get Stardust Racers without Rip Ride Rockit. Because
Yeah, I
I
agree.
very much feel that whole, from what we've heard, the original plan for Rip Ride Rockit was, that's pretty much what Stardust Racers has become. A coaster that is in a hub rather than a park, even though it is. I know it's not the same.
Yeah.
I know it's not quite the same. But I think like having something where the main parts of the park, so the 4 portals, can be closed off and you've still got that ride in the sort of entertainment hub is very much, I feel, going on what they didn't do originally with Rip Ride Rockit. And that's why you've got Stardust Races. To be fair, it's Rip Ride Rockit and Dueling Dragons.
Yeah.
They've mixed
no,
it up.
that's a good observation.
So
though.
you're missing Dueling Dragons. We're going to give you this, but you've heard what Rip Ride Rockit was going to be. We'll give you a bit of that as well.
So you said something earlier about not riding it because of the entrance being took
It's
back.
not that I don't ride it. It's just it's not in
you
your
don't anymore.
forefront
Yes,
because
but
it's...
because it's took back. And I've just realised that, the reason it's set back is it was supposed to have its own separate entrance.
Yep.
So if you think about where the secret entrance is, that would have been open. Everything else is fenced off just to go straight into that. I bet that was the
yeah, but
original
that was
plan.
only supposed to be on at night.
Yes,
it was
that's what I'm
still
talking about.
during the
yes,
park.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about for the access from City Walk. So
I wonder-
that'll be why that is so far took so
I
far
wonder
back.
how much they'd have charged.
$1 billion.
Like, so as a City Walk guest on a night, how much would you be prepared to pay to ride Rip Ride Rockit once on a night when the park's closed?
I would guess it would be $12 to $15.
I suppose if the argument is how much is a lightning lane at Disney, and it's like $25 to ride something like Rise of the Resistance. So yeah, 15's probably about.
I mean, you also could have attracted a different crowd, right? Like somebody who wasn't going Universal and was doing a Disney trip and, hey, let's go check out City Walk and let's go ride a ride.
Yeah.
Same way you would do like the balloon lift over at Disney Springs.
This is what worries me about Epic Universe moving forward, that we're potentially going to get this celestial park open on a night for just anyone to come in, and that worries me a lot. But I'm sad to see it go, but also not.
I'm excited to see what comes next.
I think
Things have to keep moving and evolving, otherwise it just becomes still.
yeah.
So
And it was the most logical one to remove. There's a lot of people screaming Fast and Furious Supercharged at this point. Yes, I mean, sure that's going to go at some point, but if
I
you're
don't think
removing...
that footprint is nowhere near the same size as what they're currently
I
clearing
don't know,
out.
it's massive. You've got to think that Fast and Furious Supercharged takes over the original Earthquake and the Beetlejuice Theatre and all of that. It's huge.
Yeah, but it's still very compact when
Yes.
you know how it works and how it's basically just on a...
No, but I'm not talking
like
about for a coaster. I mean, just to replace something, to put something new in.
Mhm. But what I'm saying is, like, yeah, you wouldn't have something as spectacular because there isn't the footage.
Doing pure speculation, front of the park, Fast and Furious Supercharged coaster means they get rid of Fast and Furious Supercharged and we get something else there. That's pure speculation on my point, but would make a lot of sense. And I wouldn't be against it.
No, that ride looks amazing and I want that ride.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. So
And I mean, it would
different,
fit the California aesthetic from Hollywood Rip Ride to
Yeah.
Fast and Furious, which was, started off, I forgot where, but in Cali. All right. Yeah. I think RIP. Pour one out for the homies. Look at that.
There hasn't been too many, actually, considering we do a tribute show every time a ride closes. We haven't done that many. So at this
No,
point,
haven't.
we're Jaws, Earthquake or Disaster, Twister,
Poseidon's Fury?
Poseidon's Fury, Kid Zone as a whole.
It was a haul.
Is that it? Oh, Shrek 4D.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Terminator 2.
I forgot about that.
I think that's it. So 7 in
14
years of doing this.
It's not a lot,
It's not bad, actually, is it?
So this is what the 8.
We can do a top 5 tribute
Former
shows now.
attractions. That could be
Yeah.
interesting, actually. Our top 5 former rides that have closed since we started. I'll just rank them all.
Yeah.
That's the easy way to do it.
I wonder what's coming last.
I don't know.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap up the podcast. Now, don't forget, we want you to rate the Freeze Ray Pops and send in your recordings, as well as sending us your How Bad is Fast and Furious Supercharged jokes. Also, don't forget to send in your HHN 34 house rankings from 10 to 1. You can send all of that to us at podcast@uuopodcast.com. See you next week. Hasta!
That's the end of another Stella episode of UUOP. Use the Flu Network to give you access to us on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok, and Pinterest. Just search UUO Podcast. And check out our blog at uuopodcast.com for everything else. Send your owls to us at podcast@uuopodcast.com. And if you want to join the Producers Club, jump down the warp pipe at uuop.supercast.com. It's alive on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else that podcasts are found. So please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you can. Dragons aren't the only way to get around. Email Michelle at portkeyvacations.com. She can take care of all aspects of your next Universal Orlando vacation. Listen to them, Children of the Night, the children of the UUOP network. Rush of Fear, Halloween Horror Nights podcast, the theme park duo for all your West Coast news and info, the Taste of Universal, Universal Orlando food podcast, and the Portkey Passport, an adult-centric Disney podcast. Make sure to subscribe and come back next week because in the end, it turns out all we needed was a little more of this.